Hello, and welcome to AP Taylor Swift,
the podcast for Swifties who love to overanalyze lyrics. We're your hosts.
I'm Jen.
I'm Jodi.
And I'm Maansi.
And we're your unofficial professors of Taylor Swift.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of AP Taylor Swift. Today, we are going to be talking about alliteration. It's been a while since we have done a kind of rhetorical strategy episode, but we like to bounce around between literary themes and sometimes philosophies, and every now and then we like to do literary devices to figure out what makes Taylor Swift's music so interesting. And this is one that actually came up. It's come up so many times, so I'm glad that we are finally getting around to it. Just some notes for our wonderful listeners. Please follow us, subscribe to our Substack if you do not already. You can just find us at AP Taylor Swift on Substack on all of our socials. And we have special paid only content as well. So if you're interested in just getting more, we call it after school content. You can definitely support us via a paid subscription and then just get some exclusive content that way.
And if you can't pay, you can rate, review, subscribe right wherever you listen to podcasts. Those reviews and subscribes really help. They help us. They help us know that you like the content. They also help other people find this lovely little podcast of ours. So thank you in advance.
Yes, all love is appreciated. Jodi,
right.
Let's talk about some alliteration.
Alliteration. I'm so excited. Alliteration, I think, is one of my favorite rhetorical devices. So what is alliteration? I got a lot of stuff from our friend Wikipedia and Grammarly. Sponsor us, Grammarly.
You made me feel like we should do a paid subscriber episode that it's just us talking about our favorite rhetorical devices. Just the nerdiest 30 minutes we
so
could
many
imagine.
Additional subscribers.
This is my new icebreaker at work.
What's your favorite rhetorical
device?
You could learn so much about a person through their favorite rhetorical device, honestly. Ellipses. Okay, so alliteration is the repetition of an initial stressed consonant sounds in a series of words within a phrase or a verse line. So it's not necessarily going to reuse all initial consonants. So for example, pizza and place alliterate. So some examples are with swift, slow, sweet, sour, or a dazzle, dim from Gerard Manley Hopkins' Pied Beauty. So Grammarly also shares that another term for alliteration is called an initial rhyme because it's literally the reverse of a rhyme. Instead of repeating the sound at the end of two or more words, alliteration is repeating the sound at the beginning of two or more words, the initial part of the word. And we are all marketers. Your hosts are, in addition to Taylor Swift fanatics, are all marketers. And so I loved this little tidbit that alliteration is really popular for brand names because the repetition can make names more memorable, like Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond, Coca-Cola. So there are also just a number of types of alliteration that we may or may not talk about today through the lens of Taylor Swift songs. So symmetrical alliteration is alliteration that uses parallelism or repeating the same grammatical structure from one phase to the next. So here, a phrase begins and ends with words that start with the same consonant sound, and then between them, like bookends, the words start with another shared consonant sound. So for example, now we want noodles. So it's not the two words right next to each other, but the bookends of the sentence have that alliterative n sound, or drive through the doorway. So that's symmetrical alliteration, the bookended version. Then you have unvoiced alliteration. This is a kind of alliteration that the reader, you won't hear while reading aloud, but you'll see it when reading a text on a page. So because maybe the repeated consonant is silent in at least one of the words. So this is really interesting when we're thinking about Taylor Swift's lyrics, and what we're doing here is when you're listening to the songs, you're listening to them, but we're looking at these words on a page like we are a poem or a literary text. So we might see some unvoiced alliteration, and examples there are like kind night. Both start with K, even though the K in night is silent, or this word predatory pterodactyl. Pterodactyl is just a real fun word to have to say on a podcast. It starts with a P. You don't hear it.
Can I give you a really fun fact about the word night that has nothing to do with alliteration?
Does it have to do with the Canterbury Tales?
It has to do with the English language.
Shocking. Go ahead.
So night is originally more of a Germanic word. So they originally would have pronounced it knit, but because of the 100 Years' War and the French coming over, it's a Germanic word that we pronounce with French pronunciation, which is why it's silent. So knit, a knife, if it for a knife. So it's spelled Germanic, pronounced French, and that's why English can be weird sometimes.
I love that also because in college, my best friend used to take the night bus from New York back home to Montreal, and we were both Harry Potter fans. So I said, "You mean the knight bus?" Because that's what it is in Harry Potter.
That's cute.
There we go. So before we get into it, I want to just also share the effect that alliteration has, because alliteration, in addition to just sounding cool, has impact and emphasis. And so alliteration in speeches and in poetry, and I'm sure we'll see in the songs that we cover today, is often used to emphasize key terms and phrases. So for example, President John F. Kennedy used alliteration to communicate his humanitarian goals in his inaugural address. He said, "To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bonds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves." So really emphasizing where he wants to put the emphasis, break the bonds of mass misery. You also have Edgar Allan Poe in the Raven using alliteration to create a mood. Deep into that darkness, peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before.
Yeah, there's really there's rhythm there that he's able to create through that, like not only emphasizing and stressing a particular thing that we should pay attention to, but you can really feel the music of the words.
Which is a great potential transition to the music that we are looking at today, which is Taylor Swift songs. And we each picked a song that we felt used alliteration in a way that helped emphasize or tell the story that she wants to tell. So with that, Jen, you want to kick us off?
Yes. So speaking of paid subscriber after school content, earlier this year we released episodes on Debut. We did a deep dive of the album as a whole. And I say that because when we did that, we obviously talked about all the songs, including our song. And I was like, I need to talk about this song. So I was just waiting for a topic, really, that I was like, our song fits perfectly with this. And lo and behold, alliteration works really well for it. So I'll be discussing our song, which came out on Taylor Swift's debut album in 2006. And this is a solo Taylor song. So an OG solo Taylor, little baby Taylor writing the song. And part of what I thought was fun about this too is I'll go through it, but it's so fun to me to see how she uses these rhetorical devices at the beginning of her career, and then knowing that we'll talk about later songs, how it's developed. And I think that's like a particularly fun thing with an artist who has such longevity in her career at this point, to see what she was doing when she was a teenager, perhaps even like a preteen for our song, and then what she's doing later on in her career. So just setting the stage of, let's see how she starts, and I'm excited to see how she develops her skills in this area. So the main instance of alliteration in our song is the lyric, "Our song is a slam and screen door." So we have song, slamming, screen. And it, like you were saying, Maansi, what's really fun about these is like it creates that rhythm. A phonetic cadence is the words that I wrote for myself here. And it's naturally melodic, and it's also referencing a song. Like there's kind of layers to our song, because it's like our song is a song about the song that she's singing right now. Like it's like kind of, you get into this like cycle. So she's saying
she
our
did this
song
a few times on debut. I noticed that when we were talking about the debut album, is that she had fun with this.
Yes. And to say our song is a slam and screen door. So we have that rhythm. She's creating this melody with this alliteration as she's referencing their song, which is the song that she's singing. And when you think about a slam and screen door, you think about it, hitting kind of hard, and slam and screen door is this a little bit more emphatic, and the alliteration can create that more punchy feeling in the lyrics. And that's the primary one. It is in the chorus of the song, so we hear it several times. But the other one I wanted to point out, which it's like not a perfect alliteration, but it's still doing a similar thing, is the line, "Sneaking out late, tapping on your window," because we have the T in late, and that goes right into the T in tapping. So it's not the the beginning alliteration necessarily, but it is obviously still doing that. And again, tapping on your window is something you think of a tap, tap, tap. And by putting that late in there, sneaking out late, tapping on your window creates that tap, tap sound internally in the line. So it's not onomatopoeia, but in some ways it's like evoking a sense of
She's created
onomatopoeia.
it, yeah. I love that because the first one especially that you said, the slamming screen door, like, you cannot say that line without singing it, like, even as you were
Yeah.
saying it, you're just like, "Our song is a slamming screen door," and you just hear
You hear
the
it.
rhythm
Yeah.
in the thing, like, you just can't say it a different way, and the tapping thing is really cool that it actually ends up creating that effect.
I love it. It also, I love pulling in a song from early in her discography because alliteration is simple. You're literally just
It
talking about
is,
repeating
yeah.
consonant sounds. Like it's a very simple rhetorical device that can be used for a lot of power and a lot of emphasis. And so I think it's really interesting to see it's used simply here, but with effect, with impact. And I'm excited to see how does that shift or change, or maybe not.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is for this song in particular, like, when we were looking through songs to pick for this episode, I went through a bunch, and I actually realized as simple as this device is, she doesn't use it everywhere. Like, I would
Mm-mm.
think that maybe it's really common in music, and so it's getting used all the time. What I do think is really cool is that she does choose it selectively, and it's interesting in this particular song, our song, she's talking about a song. And so she has chosen to put it in there to create that rhythm. In my song, which I'll get into in just a second, I feel like there's something similar happening. So it is interesting when she chooses to use it for that rhythm effect. I liked that term, phonetic. So was it phonetic cadence that you said, Jen?
Yes. Yeah, it
I
creates a
liked
rhythm
that.
and phonetic cadence is what I
Yeah,
wrote for
yeah.
myself.
Yeah, I like that a lot because that is a choice that she is doing. This song in particular, our song, was trending online because people try to play it on mute and then see if they can hit the notes, kind of similar to like
Interesting.
the Whitney Houston song. And it's anybody who grew up listening to this, they're like, this is so easy to hit on the notes because that rhythm is so like baked into the lyrics. You actually don't even need the music there. It's just like in reciting the words itself, it feels like you could stay on the beat. And it's that's I think the power of having these like da 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 because of the repetition. So I think that is awesome.
Yeah, and I think with Taylor, one of the things I wanted to call out here, Taylor loves storytelling. We know that. That is why we're doing this podcast, I guess, in many ways. And what's fun is seeing how she uses these different tools, these different her tool belt is massive. So how does she use them to tell stories? I think is often a question we're asking ourselves, particularly in these rhetorical device episodes. And like you were saying, like she doesn't use alliteration a ton, and the fact that she uses this tool when she was a child writing storytelling songs, that she uses this tool to write a song about a song, and it's a tool that is particularly melodic and rhythmic. I just think there's really we're seeing the beginning of something here where this is not the most wildly complex use of alliteration. No. But it is still using a rhetorical device to enhance storytelling in a way that I wasn't thinking about when I was 13 or 14 years old. I can say that for sure. And just to see it's sort of an origin story moment. And I think that's true for this song in a lot of ways. And it was really fun when we did our debut episodes for our paid subscribers to really I think the title we came up with it was like the portrait of a pop star as a young girl or something like that.
Portrait of an art, a take on the portrait of an artist as a young man. So portrait of a
Yeah.
artist as a young pop star, something like that. Well,
Yeah. And that just seeing the origin story of Taylor, and I just think it's fun to do that with rhetorical devices. So I wanted to start there, but I know she matures and develops, so I'm excited to get into that too.
Yeah, this rhetorical device returns in. I picked the song Call It What You Want from Reputation. Came out in 2017 and was written by Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff. And I picked the song partially because of what is even in the title. It's Call It What You Want. And that what you want is alliteration. The word you is in the middle there, but I would argue it's not quite the symmetrical rhyme because I think also like sometimes when you speak words in a song, even if there is a word in there, the way that it is pronounced, it goes by so fast. What you can almost be like one word and it's just what you want. The way that it rolls, it definitely feels like you've got two sounds back to back. This song, as we were talking about our song, I had a sudden urge to look up the genre that it's classified in because she's definitely trying to create rhythm here. So something that's consistent with our song is there are alliterations all over this one, and because she's trying to do something and I was like, what is she trying to do with this? She is creating a very notable rhythm, and as I was listening to it, I was like, this feels kind of R&B-ish. And so I wonder what the genre is. Looked it up. It's mid-tempo electropop and synth pop ballad with R&B trap crossover elements.
It sounds like when they're trying to like name the flavors in a wine and they're like, it has
Yeah.
hints of luggage and sulfur with strong
Yes.
undertones of pink peonies.
Raspberry leather. Yeah,
One of the
exactly.
bougiest references Jodi's ever made on this podcast.
Is it? Oh, that's surprising.
Anyway,
I said
there was
one
one
of.
moment where she said she could see a yacht outside her window. So
Exactly. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've topped that.
One of, not the only.
Yeah, I think Call It What You Want is a love song. And it is, I definitely get the electro pop and the synth pop, but there's an R&B flavor to it. And I like the R&B trap crossover elements. I think when they're saying R&B trap crossover elements, I think they're talking about the rhythm. And maybe there's something musically in there that puts in that category. But I think one thing that definitely does is the sounds like my castle crumbled overnight. My baby spit like a daydream, high above the whole scene. These are things that repeat kind of in the main chorus and in the title itself. Every time she repeats, call it what you want, call it what you want. You have these repetitive sounds that create a natural rhythm to what she's saying. And she says, I make the same mistakes every time. Bridges burn. I never learn. At least I did one thing right. Laughing with my lover. Starry eyes sparkling. Like that 4 or 5 lines has 4 alliterations in it. And the result is that when you hear them, it's like a very steady drumbeat of sounds coming together. It doesn't quite feel like she's rapping, but it has a really similar effect of kind of saying some words quickly, but in some sort of a flow. That's the feeling that you get, is that she has managed to create a flow with these words, and they have their own melodic rhythm to them. There are more examples even throughout, but I thought what was really interesting was like some of the main lines that repeat over and over again, like the chorus lines. High above the whole scene especially is one that just comes up again and again. So even the ones that I listed, they're just repeated throughout the song. It's not just concentrated in one part. So it was something, to me, it feels like it was something very intentionally done kind of throughout to make it flow in a way that just, it's funny, like the title is Call It What You Want. So it's just like flowing through something and just doing what you want, like it feels a little effortless and natural.
Yeah, it's very soft. Soft is the
Yeah.
word that comes to mind, which I feel like is so different from the slam of screen doors.
That's
that
what I
we
was
just
gonna say.
heard.
Yeah. We got a lot of staccato in our song,
Yeah.
and here we're getting much more of this like smoothness.
Lyrical.
Like
Flowy,
laughing
yeah.
with my lover is like this very woo,
Yeah,
You can kind of sink into it. You can flow with it.
exactly. Yeah, I think flow is the best word.
It feels a little effortless, which I feel like is what she's trying to evoke in
Yes.
the song about the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. That we're high above the whole scene. My babies fly like a jet stream. I'm laughing with my lover, making forts undercover. This is the love in relationship is effortless, so I don't care what other people call it. You can call it what you want. And the alliteration helps make the song feel light and flowy and soft and effortless as well.
Yeah,
And
I think that's what I was trying to say, is that call it what you want is very much like,
It's flippant.
you can do whatever you want. We can go with the flow, and it feels like you're kind of in a river stream just flowing along.
And some of them, though, are not as smooth, and those are the ones that I'm seeing that refer to the challenges that are happening outside the relationship. Castles crumbled, bridges burned. Those are a little bit more punchy, not as
Right.
punchy as Slam and Screen Door, but it is cool to see that she's using alliteration, and it's a little more punchy when you're like, oh, ow, I can feel the pain of that.
Right.
But it's really smooth when you're supposed to feel the effortlessness of the relationship kind of inside the boundaries versus outside, bad. Castles crumbled, bridges burnt, inside. Call it what you want. I'm laughing
What
with
you
my
want.
lover.
Yeah.
It's a very different feeling.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how many alliterations were in this song, because to the earlier point, she doesn't use these a whole lot in a lot of her songs. I did go through several before getting to this where there were none. And I just think it's really interesting that even as a musician, she's not just leaning on this device as a crutch through a lot of music. It's brought in selectively when she's trying to get a particular sound.
Yeah, we know everything is intentional with an artist like Taylor, but when she doesn't use something very often, that means it's almost even more so like, okay, if she's using a tool she doesn't reach for often in her tool belt, why? Why is this the tool coming into play? Why is this the strategy she's decided is best to tell the story she's telling here? It kind of makes me like perk up more when we're like, wait, she doesn't do this a lot. Why is she doing this now?
Which might be a good transition to my song, because I feel like I chose a song where the alliteration has a very different feeling than in Call It What You Want. I chose Father Figure. So now we're really bookending Taylor's career to date as of this recording. Father Figure came out in 2025 on The Life of a Showgirl. It's track 4, written by Taylor Swift, Max Martin, and Shellback. And then George Michael has a co-writing credit for the interpolation of his song Father Figure. And this song, I mean, alliteration is right in the title, the hard F of Father Figure. And alliteration is really used in this song for to emphasize strength and power. And this is another great example of alliteration to strengthen the storytelling by really creating this forceful character. And we're mostly seeing, or exclusively seeing, we're mostly seeing alliteration in the chorus, which is where we get the repetition of the language, I'll be your father figure. So the verses in this song are illustrative, and then the chorus and the bridge are where she talks about the role of the father figure, and really that strength and power comes into play here. And so the use of alliteration really reads like a father figure reinforcing their role in a mentee's life, reinforcing their superiority. And so alliteration serves as this strength and power and really creates that father figures. So the chorus is, I'll be your father figure. I'll drink that brown liquor. I can make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. This love is pure profit. Just step into my office. I dry your tears with my sleeve. Leave it with me. So immediately we've got father figure. This is how you know whether you're looking at the clean or the not clean version. Deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. Like, if that's not the most perfect use and place for alliteration, I don't know what is. And you can really feel the difference when you read the clean version. In the clean version, I can make deals with the devil because my check's bigger. You still have the D of deal with the devil, but it's not, it doesn't pack a punch quite the way.
And people would say that. I know when people heard the clean version, they're like, it just doesn't pack the same punch. It's because there's no alliteration.
There's no alliteration. I think literally the idea of a woman embodying I'm in my power blazer today to dress up as the father figure. The idea of a female artist.
And Jodi was doing Pilates like an hour ago, so that feels
extra, a girl who could do both. Thank you very much. The idea of a female artist being like, my dick's bigger. And that is, it's jarring. It's a jarring visual for anybody to just be like, to use that term, particularly for a female artist to align herself with a father figure and to say, I am the father figure, and to use that as a metaphor. And again, this love is pure profit. What does that line mean? It means this love is going to make me money. Like, that's why I'm here. I'm here because the love I have for you as your father figure is about profit, is about making money. It's a business arrangement. So that's a real powerful, like, that's nobody, if someone said to you, this love is pure profit, you'd be like, oh, this is a transactional love. That's not what you want to see in a loving relationship, in a relationship with a actual father figure. But it's really reinforcing it. Like, this whole song is about a father figure, in quotes, from a business and mentorship point of view.
This has nothing to do with the alliteration part of it, but I've just always loved that we got a song called The Man of If I Was the Man, and then in Father Figure, we get a song where she's like, actually, I am.
I am
I'm
the man. Exactly. No, I love that.
Nothing to do with alliteration, but God, I love it.
I know.
I feel like the consonants that she has picked here, like alliteration can be the repetition of any consonants, but as we just saw in Call It What You Want, like there are soft consonants and then there are hard consonants. And
all the
here
hard
very
ones.
much she has picked all of the hard ones, which I mean
Amen.
but specifically to me, because she's picked the hard consonants, I think of a hammer just hitting. It feels like something hard hitting you. Father figure deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. Pure profit, loyalty, like especially like the pure profit requires you to like. I don't remember what TV show it was, but there was like this one professor that would always spit. Is maybe like That's So Raven.
I always think of Jonathan Groff because he always spits when
same.
he sings.
I was just gonna say that.
But yeah, there's
like That's So Raven on Disney, where like the professor was always just like, or maybe. Oh, I'm thinking of an Indian movie. This is an Indian reference.
I love it.
Sorry. Well, I was like, there was a figure in my life who would just always spit when they talked. And I'm pure profit. To me, you can like feel it.
Yes.
Almost like spitting in your face.
Alliteration packs a punch. The alliteration in this song is about strength. It's about impact. And you get that it's primarily in the chorus. You also have a little bit of alliteration in the bridge, but it's much softer. The bridge says, I saw a change in you, my dear boy. They don't make loyalty like they used to. And so that's a much softer, the L sound is a much softer alliterative sound. And the bridge is softer because it's about noticing a change in this mentee, in this protege, saying, wait a second, are you trying to one-up me? You're trying to get rid of me? Like, like that's the only time, or the first time, where the father figure sees, wait a second, am I no longer in a position of strength here? And so the alliteration is a lot softer. And then,
yeah, I saw you have written down that you remind me of a younger me.
Well, I was getting to that one.
Sorry, I will I will reclaim my statement.
Right. So we have this really strong P's and D's and F's in the choruses. The bridge, we have the softer, they don't make loyalty like they used to. And then the last chorus repeat changes a little bit. And this is where the father figure kind of reclaims their power. I was your father figure. We drank that brown liquor. You made a deal with the devil. Turns out my dick's bigger. You want a fight. You found it. So we've got the F sound there, literally saying fight. And it's that alliteration creates this punch and this fighting feeling. I got the place surrounded. You'll be sleeping with the fishes before you know you're drowning. Whose portrait's on the mantle? Who covered up your scandals? Mistake my kindness for weakness and find your card canceled. So we have that hard C sound. I was your father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. Da, da, da. And at the very end, we have, as Maansi said, you remind me of a younger me. I saw potential. So the Y sound is totally new here. And that repetition of you remind me, the younger me, is a change to kind of really parallel. And I would love one day to deep dive this song to understand more closely the relationship between the father figure and the mentee, because you really see the shift through the different consonant sounds that she's playing with in this song.
Yeah, that last one especially just feels so soft. Like, almost, like, wistful of the think,
Yeah,
you know,
like a
you remind me of a
yeah.
younger me.
I see, like, I was in the position of power, you
Yeah.
tried to usurp me, but now I
Yeah.
see that that's probably something I would have done too, because so, like, there's this
It's almost like a
recognition.
wistful,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a stretch,
we love a stretch.
but I acknowledge that, so don't at me. But I also think the word protect and the way she sings it, the two T's in protect feel alliterative,
Oh,
even if it
interesting.
doesn't match the definition. But because she sings it so staccato, I protect the family.
You
You
get the
get that.
T's.
Yeah. And I think when you would normally say protect, you wouldn't be like the way she punches it in some ways creates that sense of alliteration, I think, even though definitely doesn't fit the definition. It's more of a internal repetitive
Yeah,
sound, but like whatever, that's
it's
basically
definitely poetic.
alliteration. Yeah, but she's doing it again just to kind of the point you were saying that in that chorus we get more of the harder ones.
Yeah.
And I love when she kind of whispers, I protect the family, so it's a whisper punch,
Yeah.
which is a different
When
energy
someone's
in
mad at
some
you,
ways.
but they're saying the things quietly, you know they're
Yeah.
real mad and you're in real trouble.
It's your mom whispering to you when you're in public, but you like
You're like, "Oh,
messed
shit."
up and she's mad.
Yeah.
So that sound when it repeats in the middle of the word is not quite alliteration, but it is a thing. It is a device, and it's called consonants. So I do
Maybe
actually
that's our
think
next
that
rhetorical strategy that we cover
we
in another
actually do
episode.
see that. I'm like going back and looking at our other songs too, because we were focused on alliteration.
Start
but
over. We're doing the whole episode again.
there is there is consonants as well, where she has the same letter at the beginning, but then you see these like internal repetitions within words where she's using like portrait on the mantle. You do have that T sound repeating in portrait on the mantle.
It's in the middle of the word.
It's in the middle of the word, or it could be at the end of the word, but you're still hearing the same sound. And I think she does this a lot with like, no, you're drowning. Like there's a lot of W's that get in the middle to create some of that flow as well. So I think that's a really good call out of like, we're getting that rhythm at the beginning of the word, and then we're also getting it in the middle of the word. And that creates this like very steady da 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 da.
Yeah, it's a very staccato song, similar to our song. Our song is the Slam of Screen Doors. And again, and maybe we got slamming, we've got there's a lot going on here. But the only other thing I'll say is I really want to do a tap dance to this song, because the staccato and the forcefulness to
That's
this
really cool.
is just, it really, I have the vision in my head. I can see it in my head. I just have to I don't choreograph, so one day.
You do now. Hey, paid subscribers, we're going to have a
Challenge
special
accepted.
video of Jodi performing.
No, well, the whole idea is, and I have to talk to my tap teacher about this, is, it's a duo, it's a duet, and it's the, person, and it's the father figure does the first one, and then they see the mentee, and so the second verse chorus is a duet. The first verse and chorus is solo. The second verse chorus is a duet. The bridge, the mentee starts to do the really cool things, and then kind of burns out, and the father figure comes back and is like, no, 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 no. I'm the father figure. I protect the family.
Love
And
that. Pitch it for the next music video.
Just text Tay.
Hey T, I have an idea for you.
Involves tap dancing.
This song too is, out of all the songs on Life of a Showgirl, which are all very catchy, this song's the one that's stuck in my head the most. And I feel like I now understand why after this conversation. Like this song, constantly singing this song in my head. Yeah.
Packs a punch.
It makes it more of an earworm. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only other thing I'll say is it reminds me of the JFK usage of alliteration for power and emphasis. Like this is the definition.
Yeah.
This song is the definition of power, and alliteration is used to create power and emphasis and strength. And so going back to our conversation about, she doesn't use alliteration all the time. She uses it very purposefully. And this song, it has a very strong purpose.
Yeah, I really love the variety that we went through in our music of like used it to create rhythm and music. Then she uses it in a softer way to create flow. And then here is like very much for power. It's a punch deliberately being used to create just something that holds a high impact. Pretty cool.
And I do make more money than my husband and my male best friend. And let me tell you, this song comes up a lot because I'll often I'll just go to pay, which is funny because like Chris and I have a joint bank account, so it doesn't really matter. But I'll be like, oh, I got this.
I'll be your father figure.
Exactly. I pay the check before it hits the mahogany grain. And then my best friend is interviewing for a job where he'd make more than me. And I'm like, I guess I need a new job. This is the only thing that matters in my career. My career progression is about still making more money than the men in my life. Everything else is secondary to my career
love
goals.
that. That is exactly
Jen
what
as a father figure. Your biography will be called Jen, the father figure.
Father figure.
Yeah.
My check's bigger.
And I also am realizing I didn't say this when I talked about our song, but we will be deep diving our song next week. So
yeah. So that's all we have for you on alliteration. Well, I guess we'll do consonants another time. Also subscribe to After School, not just for the debut deep dive, but for our what's your favorite rhetorical strategy conversations.
And Jodi's tap dance.
And my tap dance. And join us next week on AP Taylor Swift, where we deep dive our song. That's all we have for you today on AP Taylor Swift.
Be sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us across socials at AP Taylor Swift to stay up to date.
Join us next time as we overanalyze the next Taylor Swift song on AP Taylor Swift.